Do you ever feel like you're in the eye of a spiritual storm, chosen one? Like a silent battle is raging around you, a tempest of emotions and secrets that you can sense but can't quite see. What if I told you that an explosive fight about you just happened, all because a specific person or people in your life have been lying about how they truly feel about you? You're not imagining things. The energy has been shifting and the truth is being forced to the surface, causing chaos and conflict. It's like a cosmic domino effect, where one lie is toppling everything in its path. Luna was always the one people gravitated towards, a beacon of light and kindness. But she also had this uncanny ability to see through the masks people wore. She had a friend, let's call him Leo, who always acted like he was her biggest supporter. He'd offer advice, cheer her on, and seemed genuinely invested in her success. But Luna's spiritual intuition, her inner compass, kept sending her little nudges, tiny red flags she couldn't ignore. Every time she got a new opportunity or experienced a breakthrough, she would feel this subtle shift in his energy, a fleeting moment of coldness or envy that he would quickly hide with a forced smile. One day, Luna received a massive career promotion, a dream come true she had worked so hard for. When she told Leo, he gave her the usual congratulations. But something was different this time. Her spiritual senses screamed at her that his words and his energy were completely misaligned. That same week, she found out a massive argument had erupted between Leo and someone else in their circle. It was a vicious fight, and the core of the conflict was all about Luna's success. The other person had called Leo out on his subtle jealousy and passive-aggressive behavior toward Luna, exposing his secret resentment. It turned out he had been lying about his true feelings all along, and the pressure of his own envy had finally caused him to lash out. The fight wasn't just about his feelings. It was a cosmic confrontation, a spiritual showdown that was a direct result of the truth about him being brought to light. This explosive fight was a spiritual purification, a necessary evil to clear the energy and expose the lie. You see, chosen ones, a quote by the great spiritual leader Paramahansa Yogananda, perfectly captures this. The season of failure is the best time for sowing the seeds of success. And in this context, the season of conflict is the perfect time for sowing the seeds of truth. Your spiritual journey is not a walk in the park, it's a battle for your destiny. This video isn't just a revelation, it's a guide to help you stay awake and aware of the spiritual battles being fought on your behalf. Don't let your guard down. It's time to understand why this is happening and what to do about it. So sit back, grab your divine armor, and get ready to have your mind and spirit blown wide open. Point 1. The spiritual fight is proof of your power. This isn't just some petty exchange of gossip or a round of playground drama. It's a calculated strike in a spiritual battle, one that you didn't ask for, but are already winning simply by standing in your truth. The person spreading lies is just the mouthpiece. The real enemy is the spirit operating behind them, a spirit of jealousy, deception, and insecurity that's been festering in the shadows. Think of it like a superhero movie. In those stories, the villain rarely attacks someone who poses no threat. They target the hero because the hero has power, power that disrupts their control. That's you, your light, your resilience, your success, and the undeniable anointing over your life are dangerous to those who survive off illusion and control. You are proof that truth exists, and that makes you their worst nightmare. From a psychological standpoint, jealousy is often rooted in a perceived threat to one's self-worth. According to research in social psychology, envy can trigger behaviors aimed at reducing that threat, sometimes through sabotage or smear campaigns. Spiritually, this aligns perfectly. A person who cannot match your authenticity will try to distort it. The lie they spread is their desperate attempt to rewrite reality so they can feel in control again. But here's the kicker. Lies only have power when you react out of fear or anger. The more grounded you are, the more their efforts collapse under their own weight. Picture it like a battlefield you can't see with your eyes. You're armored in integrity, confidence, and divine purpose. They come swinging with shadows, rumors, twisted words, exaggerated stories. But shadows can't survive the light. Every time you choose not to retaliate with the same energy, you disarm them. This is why the attacks sometimes get louder before they fade. It's the last flare-up before the darkness realizes it's lost. History and scripture are filled with examples of this dynamic. From ancient rulers to modern-day leaders, Anyone walking in truth and purpose has faced character assassination. Even in warfare strategy, destabilizing the enemy's image is a classic move. It's easier to destroy a reputation than to face the person head-on. The difference here is that you're not just fighting for survival, you're fighting with a spiritual advantage. Your authenticity is your weapon, and the truth has a way of surfacing no matter how deeply it's buried. The irony is the more they try to attack you, the more they expose themselves. Gossip has a boomerang effect. It often says more about the gossiper than the target. People with discernment will notice patterns, how this person seems to have a problem with anyone who shines, how their concerns always sound suspiciously self-serving. This is why, Spirit Warrior, you don't have to shout to prove your innocence. You just have to keep walking in your calling. So understand this, their battle is not truly with you. It's with their own reflection. You've become a mirror they can't bear to look into because every time they see you thriving, it reminds them of where they've settled. This inner war spills into the physical realm because they don't know how else to silence the discomfort you trigger in them. But here's your power move. You don't let it change who you are. Your consistency is the ultimate strike. In the end, Spirit Warrior, remember that light doesn't argue with darkness, it simply shines. The same way a hero never chases every rumor in the city, you don't need to run after every lie. You're not in this fight to prove your worth, you already know it. And as long as you keep standing tall, they will learn the hard way that the truth has a way of fighting for itself. Point 2, the divine truth bomb. You are a divine truth bomb walking this earth, Spirit Warrior, and you may not even realize the magnitude of that statement. Your energy is not passive, it's a force, a catalyst, a spiritual disruptor of illusions. Everywhere you go, you carry a vibration that makes lies and hidden motives squirm. It's not because you're out here interrogating people or calling them out directly, it's because truth is literally embedded in your frequency. Science has shown that human beings can sense incongruence when someone's words don't align with their body language or emotional energy. Psychologists call this emotional leakage, but on a spiritual level, what's leaking is the truth they're trying to contain. Your very presence acts like a high-frequency tuning fork, exposing that dissonance. Think of the people around you like tightly sealed soda bottles. On the outside, they might look perfectly calm and composed, but inside they're holding fizzing, carbonated secrets. The moment your energy comes near, it's like shaking that bottle without even touching it. Every unspoken feeling, every hidden resentment, every false smile starts swirling faster. You don't have to confront them, your light confronts them for you. This is why you'll often notice people who were cool, with you suddenly acting jittery, irritable, or overly defensive. They are not just reacting to you, they are reacting to the mirror your soul is holding up. And here's where it gets intense. Eventually, the pressure has to release. It might come out as a heated argument, an emotional breakdown, or a random confession that spills more tea than they intended. That's the cap flying off the bottle. Messy? Absolutely. Uncomfortable? Definitely. But spiritually necessary? Without a doubt. See, the truth doesn't always come out in candle-lit serenity with calm voices and soft piano music. Sometimes it bursts through like a storm, loud and unfiltered, because the soul can no longer bear the weight of deception. What's happening here isn't just drama. It's energetic law in action. Just like heat causes water to boil, your divine frequency increases the vibrational temperature of every interaction you're in. In quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect, where the act of observation changes the behavior of the observed. On a spiritual plane, you are that observer. Your very awareness alters the energetic field. You walk into a room and the truth starts rearranging itself, preparing to surface. This is why spirit warriors often find themselves in the middle of emotional explosions they didn't cause. You're not starting fires, you're revealing where the gas leaks are. And though it can be exhausting to watch people's facades crumble, understand this. You were sent here for exactly that reason. In a world where deception can hide for decades, you're the timer that says, time's up. So the next time someone's behavior shifts around you, or you witness a sudden eruption of truth in your presence, remember, it's not chaos for chaos's sake. It's spiritual surgery. It's the universe using your energy as a scalpel to cut away what's false so what's real can finally breathe. You are not here to comfort lies. You are here to liberate truth. And that, spirit warrior, is a power most can't handle but the world desperately needs. Point 3. Their lies are your lessons. Every lie they tell, every spark of drama they ignite, is not just a nuisance, it's a syllabus in the school of the spirit warrior. You're not simply surviving their chaos, you're learning to master the art of perception. Lies are rarely just words. They carry frequencies, subtle energetic distortions that you can feel if you're still enough to notice. Ancient warriors trained for years to read the slightest shift in wind or movement of grass before an ambush. In the same way, you're training to read the shifts in tone, body language, and unspoken energy that ripple from a deceitful tongue. The more you face these scenarios, the more your spiritual radar sharpens. It's like upgrading from a blurry old map to a high-resolution real-time GPS of human behavior. Your intuition has been there all along, soft, steady, and unshakable. But in a noisy world, it's easy to dismiss it, to second-guess yourself because someone else's words seem convincing. Then suddenly, boom! The fight explodes, the mask slips, and the universe hits you with surround sound. See, you were right all along. That's not just vindication, it's a training drill from the cosmos. The drama is the loudspeaker for what your inner voice has been whispering. And once you experience that alignment between your gut and the truth, it's impossible to unlearn it. You start trusting yourself over the theatrics, the rehearsed lines, and the crocodile tears. This is why spirit warriors don't get hooked on revenge or drawn into the circus. You're not here to win the loudest argument, you're here to master the quiet knowing. The battlefield isn't their gossip-laced timeline, it's the inner arena where you test your emotional discipline. Think of it like martial arts for the soul. Every provocation is an opponent throwing a punch, and your job isn't to hit back harder, it's to anticipate, sidestep, and counter with precision. It's in restraint, not rage, that you prove your mastery. Science even backs this up. Neuroscience has shown that the gut is lined with over 500 million neurons, a second brain known as the enteric nervous system. This biological powerhouse communicates with the brain through the vagus nerve, meaning your instincts are not mystical fluff. They are hardwired survival tools honed over millennia. When your stomach tightens around a certain person, it's your primal intelligence flagging a threat long before your conscious mind catches up. Spirit warriors simply refine this ability until it's as natural as breathing. And here's the secret most people miss. The drama isn't really about them, it's about you stepping into spiritual maturity. The universe will keep sending you similar tests until you pass. That's why toxic people often seem to appear in waves. They are mirrors, showing you whether you've learned the lesson or if you're still falling for the same bait. Once you truly embody discernment, those same traps lose their pull. You stop reacting to their theatrics because you're no longer playing the same game. So the next time someone's lies ripple into your life, remember, this isn't a curse, it's a consecration. Every falsehood is sharpening your vision, every confrontation is refining your self-control, and every burst of chaos is hammering your armor into something impenetrable. You're not just enduring the storm, you're reading its patterns, learning its language, and becoming the kind of warrior who doesn't just survive the battle. You see it coming from miles away and walk through it untouched. The spirit. A warrior's strength isn't in how loud they can roar, it's in how unshakable they remain when the noise tries to break them. And when you've mastered that, no lie, no scheme, no act of betrayal will ever catch you off guard again. You'll already have seen it in their eyes long before they speak. Point 4, the clearing of your path. Spirit warriors. Sometimes the battles you face are not about swinging swords or winning debates. They're about spiritual sanitation. Yes, you heard that right. This fight you're in is less like a war and more like the universe, calling in a cosmic roto-rooter to unclog the drains of your life, all that stagnant energy, those one-sided connections. The people who only clap when you're quiet but vanish when you roar, they're being flushed out with divine precision. You might feel the sting of conflict, the ache of misunderstandings, or the discomfort of people revealing their true colors. But understand this, the pain isn't punishment, it's purification. The universe is using these moments as a high-pressure hose, blasting away anything that's clogging your path toward the next chapter of your destiny. Think about it like tending a spiritual garden. You can't expect healthy flowers if you refuse to pull out the weeds. Some weeds look harmless, even pretty. They blend in, pretending to be part of the garden, but the truth is they choke the roots, rob the soil, and drain the life from what you're trying to grow. In life, those weeds come in the form of fake supporters, secret competitors, and people who smile in your face while hoping for your downfall. They are subtle energy vampires who don't always announce their intentions, but the energy shift when they leave is undeniable. The air becomes lighter, your thoughts become clearer, and your spirit feels unshackled. And here's the powerful, factual layer to this. Psychology and neuroscience tell us that our brains naturally mirror the emotions of those we spend the most time with, a phenomenon called emotional contagion. If you're constantly surrounded by negative, small-minded, or jealous individuals, your nervous system begins to absorb and reflect their energy. That's why, after a conversation with certain people, you feel drained, unmotivated, or strangely insecure. It's not your imagination, it's biology. The fight you're in right now is your spirit saying, no more contamination, we're disinfecting the environment. Spirit warriors, I know it's tempting to hold on to people for the sake of history, to keep connections alive just because they've been around for years. But longevity does not equal loyalty. The universe is currently giving you X-ray vision into hearts and motives. People are showing you exactly where they stand, not with words, but with actions. Who checks in when you're low? Who celebrates when you win, and who disappears when you need them most? And as painful as it may be, you're being called to step back and let the pruning happen. Because the ones who are being removed, they can't breathe at the altitude you're headed to. This process is not rejection, it's refinement. You are not losing people, you are losing dead weight. You are not being isolated, you are being insulated, protected from interference as you align with your true tribe. Your soul family, the ones who will sharpen you, pour into you, and walk with you in purpose, cannot enter if your space is still occupied by counterfeits. Imagine your spirit like a sacred temple. You can't expect divine visitors when you've let random strangers camp out in the holy places, tracking mud across the floor. So when conflicts erupt, when people fall away, when the air feels charged with change, don't panic. Recognize it for what it is, a divine cleansing ritual. It may feel like chaos now, but spirit warriors know this truth. Order always follows. The space that feels empty now will soon be filled with allies who are aligned with your mission, not threatened by it. And when they arrive, you'll realize the fight wasn't about losing anyone. It was about making room for everyone who was meant to stand beside you. Because in the end, the real victory is not in keeping the wrong people. It's in walking with the right ones into the battles ahead. And trust me, Spirit Warrior, your true army is already on its way. Point 5, the humorous irony of it all. Can we just pause for a second and really savor the comedy gold here? The same person who once tried to tear you down, discredit you, and make you feel small, has now unknowingly taken center stage in a drama they wrote, directed, and produced themselves. Spirit warriors, it's like watching a live episode of Karma's greatest hits. You didn't even need to lift a finger. No revenge plot, no angry confrontations, because they've managed to trip over their own ego like a cartoon villain stepping on a banana peel. And oh, the irony. They worked so hard to hide their envy, keeping that poker face tight. But the energy was so strong, so toxic, that it spilled out like a shaken soda bottle the moment someone popped the cap. Here's the thing. When someone carries that much jealousy in their spirit, it's impossible to fully hide it. Science and psychology even back this up. Studies on micro-expressions, those tiny involuntary facial cues we give off, show that emotions like envy and resentment are nearly impossible to suppress entirely. The human body betrays the mind. It leaks truth through tone of voice, shifts in posture, and even subtle changes in breathing. So no matter how much they try to smile and act unbothered, their energy tells the real story. And as spiritual warriors, we know energy never lies. Now here's where it gets even better. What they didn't expect is that the universe loves balance. You cannot pour out negativity without it eventually circling back. It's the cosmic boomerang effect. Ancient philosophies, from the biblical principle of reaping what you sow to Eastern concepts like karma, agree on one thing: whatever you put into the world returns to you amplified. So while they were busy planting seeds of bitterness about you, those seeds were quietly growing into a forest of their own embarrassment. Now they're standing in the middle of it, wondering why the trees look suspiciously like all the rumors and shade they once threw. But here's where you, the spirit warrior, shine. You're not sitting in the audience just to laugh, although let's be real, it is pretty funny. You're learning. You understand that their drama is actually a lesson in disguise. a reminder that your job is never to match someone's negative energy, but to keep walking your path with grace. The universe will handle the receipts. You don't have to prove them wrong. Their own actions will do it better than any defense you could mount. And let's talk about the light exposure moment, the grand reveal. It's almost cinematic the way truth breaks through lies. The ancient proverb says, "What is whispered in the dark will be shouted from the rooftops." Sometimes this happens through an unguarded slip of the tongue, sometimes through a contradiction in their own stories, and sometimes through other people piecing the puzzle together. Either way, when it happens, it's explosive. Their carefully curated image cracks like a porcelain mask, and for the first time, everyone sees the real face underneath. The best part, you don't need to say, "I told you so." Your energy, your growth, and your quiet strength say it for you. You're the living proof that staying in your lane, focusing on your mission, and refusing to stoop to petty games is the ultimate power move. While they were tangled up in their own negativity, you were building, elevating, and shining so brightly that their shadows couldn't help but expose themselves. So, Spirit Warriors, the next time someone tries to dim your light, remember this: people can't destroy what the universe has ordained. They can only sabotage themselves trying. Watch it unfold, keep your peace, and let karma finish the screenplay. Because honestly, the plot twists are priceless. Point 6, God's protection and divine intervention. When an explosive fight erupts seemingly out of nowhere, Spirit Warriors, it's rarely just about the words exchanged or the surface-level disagreement. More often than not, these fiery confrontations carry a much deeper spiritual significance. They can be moments of revelation, evidence that you are not walking your journey alone. The timing, the intensity, and the sudden exposure of truths that were once hidden point to something much bigger at work: divine intervention. Whether you call it God, the universe, your ancestors, or your spiritual guides, there are unseen forces operating in those very moments. What might look like chaos to the naked eye is, in reality, a carefully calculated disruption meant to shake loose the lies, strip away the illusions, and expose what has been rotting in the dark. In the realm of spiritual warfare, deception is one of the enemy's oldest and most effective weapons. When those lies begin to collapse without you lifting a finger, that's not coincidence. It's confirmation that higher powers are already in the trenches, fighting battles on your behalf that you may not even realize are being waged. Think of it as a cosmic chess match. While you're diligently moving through life, seeking alignment with your higher calling and making disciplined choices, unseen forces are maneuvering pieces on the board you cannot see. The divine isn't just reacting to your opponent's moves, it's playing the long game, positioning you for checkmate. The betrayals you endured, the rumors spread about you, or the sudden fallout with people you once trusted, none of these were random misfortunes. They were targeted strikes against your destiny. Yet the fact that truth rises to the surface, often at the very moment you need it most, is no accident. This idea echoes through countless spiritual traditions. In the Bible, Joseph's betrayal by his brothers wasn't just family drama. It was the setup that led him to Pharaoh's palace, where his suffering became the doorway to his purpose. In Buddhism and Hinduism, the concept of karma reminds us that hidden actions, whether good or malicious, inevitably come to light. Even modern psychology observes that suppressed truths rarely remain buried forever. Tension and deception eventually surface, often through conflict. The universal law is simple. What is hidden in darkness will ultimately be brought into the light. The beauty of this awareness is that it frees you from the compulsion to fight fire with fire. The natural human response to lies, betrayal, or attacks is to strike back, prove your innocence, defend your character, and dismantle your enemies with your words. But Spirit Warriors understand that true strength lies in restraint. You don't match chaos with chaos. You anchor yourself in peace while the unseen realm takes care of the rest. This is not weakness or passivity, it's strategy. Military leaders throughout history, from Sun Tzu to great generals of modern times, emphasize the wisdom of letting an opponent's mistakes undo them. In the same way, your silence and steadiness allow the divine to orchestrate a takedown far more powerful than anything your hands could construct. The very lies designed to bury you become the very evidence that vindicates you. Those who sought to conspire against you, whether consciously or unconsciously, end up playing their roles in your elevation. History itself provides countless examples. Consider Martin Luther King Jr., whose wrongful imprisonment and slander only amplified his voice and movement. Or Nelson Mandela, whose decades of confinement didn't silence him, but instead prepared him for leadership that would reshape a nation. The spiritual principle is the same. Attempts to destroy you are often the fuel that launches you into greater purpose. Your task is not to control the narrative, but to remain aligned with your truth. Keep your spiritual armor on, faith as your shield, clarity as your compass, and discipline as your weapon. When you refuse to be dragged into the mud, you create the space for the universe to complete the mission it has already begun on your behalf. So, chosen one, when the battles of life erupt, do not mistake them as signs of defeat. They are not evidence that you are abandoned, but proof that you are protected. The fight you see is only the tip of the iceberg. The real war is being won in a realm your enemies cannot access. Your role is to remain steady, to hold fast to your light, and to trust the process unfolding around you. Just as a storm clears the sky and makes way for sunlight, so too do these conflicts clear the falsehoods and expose the truth. Victory, in many ways, is already secured. You're simply walking out the steps. So the next time you feel the tension rise and the battle flare, remember this: you are not fighting alone, and the disruption you see is actually divine alignment at work. Hold your ground, spirit warrior, because what was meant to break you is only preparing to reveal your strength. The checkmate is coming, and it's already written in your favor. Point 7. Your call to action. Spirit warriors, here's the truth. When you're chosen, you'll often be handed information that could ignite chaos if you let it. Maybe it's a rumor whispered in the shadows, a betrayal that found its way back to your ears, or a truth someone desperately wanted to hide. The temptation, oh, it's real. You could confront, expose, or let your righteous fire scorch everything in sight. But a true warrior of the spirit knows that every battle is not theirs to fight, not because you're weak, but because you understand the difference between ego-driven combat and divinely assigned missions. And here's where the test comes in. This is about your discipline, your patience, and your understanding that spiritual authority is far more powerful than human retaliation. When you refuse to take the bait, you're not just avoiding drama, you're transcending it. Science even backs this up. Studies in neuropsychology show that people who regulate their emotions instead of reacting impulsively maintain better mental health, clearer decision-making, and stronger relationships. Why? Because emotional regulation is like sharpening your sword without ever having to swing it. The world will often confuse restraint for weakness, but in reality it's one of the greatest demonstrations of power. Praying for the one who's wrestling with their inner demons isn't naive, it's strategic. Think about it. Anger feeds anger, but compassion disrupts the cycle. When you send peace into a chaotic situation, you're not just being nice, you're shifting the energy. Even quantum physics recognizes that intention and observation influence outcomes. Your prayer, your blessing, your refusal to enter the pit, that is you choosing to operate on a higher frequency where their chaos cannot reach you. And here's the beauty. Spirit warriors know that the truth is self-sustaining. It doesn't need you to advertise it, protect it, or shove it in anyone's face. It is like light. It will pierce through darkness all on its own. By releasing the need for an apology or acknowledgement, you untether yourself from the emotional debt that situation tried to tie around your ankle. You walk away lighter, faster, and freer. This isn't avoidance, this is alignment. You know that some battles have already been fought and won for you in realms unseen. You're not abandoning the fight. You're recognizing it was never yours to begin with. And once you truly get that, your movements become more strategic, your vision sharper, and your discernment keener. You become the warrior who picks battles wisely, who knows when to swing and when to stand still, and who understands that the ultimate victory is walking away with your peace intact and your crown unshaken. You, spirit warrior, don't just win fights, you redefine what victory means. And that right there is power no enemy can touch. So, chosen ones, the next time you feel that energetic shift, that spiritual tremor deep within your soul. Don't dismiss it as coincidence or random emotion. That trembling is the spiritual realm responding to your presence, much like how the earth quakes when tectonic plates move beneath the surface. Science shows us that even the smallest vibration can ripple outward, influencing everything in its path, and in the same way, your divine energy disrupts falsehood and exposes hidden darkness. You are not just living life, you're walking proof of the power of truth and light. A living vessel that unsettles lies simply by existing authentically. When chaos begins to stir around you, it is not always a sign of trouble. It can be confirmation that your anointing is active, clearing spiritual debris, much like a storm clears the air of pollutants. Even nature reminds us of this principle. Wildfires, though destructive at first, create fertile soil for new growth. Similarly, the turbulence in your life often signals that the old is being stripped away so the new can emerge. Embrace these disruptions with courage, knowing they are reshaping your path and sharpening your destiny. Stay awake, spirit warriors, because awareness is your armor. In the end, no matter how fierce the storm or how loud the opposition, the truth always prevails. And when you stand anchored in that truth, you carry a force powerful enough to shake foundations and inspire transformation wherever you go.